TheChowTimePod is your host, Red. I got a video today from Better Bachelor. Probably one of the better red pill men on the space for sure. And he's thinking about not being red pill or manosphere anymore. Let's listen to his thoughts. And please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. In many ways, I did a video about a week ago or so where a content creator who's Christian, has a family, and he has a son, and he's married, and life is working out for him very well. And he said, "Oh, the red pill needs a reset." And I argued back because he was talking about pickup guys, and he was talking about, I don't know, a lot of hot takes and.
That's what a lot of red pillars, what I can see, is just like pickup artist type people, how to finesse women in a sense. Not in finessing them as in like taking their money or anything, but finessing them as in getting them in bed.
Talking about Andrew Tate and a lot of other things. And I said, no, you have it wrong. I think he's got the red pill wrong. But then I came across this video.
I felt the same way he did. So many people were coming at me with red pill stuff, like, oh, red pill, so this and that. I'm like, that's not what red pill is. But it's so dominating the main points and the main face of red pill, it can't be ignored.
And this is a debate on Fresh and Fit between Sneeko, who I don't listen to his content, Destiny, who I don't listen to his content, Rolo, who I've heard a little bit of his content, but I just don't listen to anymore. And I forget the other gentleman's name. Let me see if I can find it here. Michael Sartain.
Yeah, I just maybe somewhat started watching a little bit more Destiny content. He's a pretty bright man. Rolo, I stopped watching a while ago. Fresh and Fit, I do watch here and there just because I like for content type purposes. Sneeko, I kind of like the way he's going about things now somewhat. It's more aligned with my personal views on things. The religious part and the Muslim part and him marrying multiple wives thing, not so much. And then Rolo, I think he's just out of date. He's just out of touch with how society works a little bit different nowadays since when he started writing those books and, became the godfather of the red pill. The other guy that he just mentioned, I don't watch his content at all, so I don't really know. So
Sartain. And they're having this debate. And I listened to it, and I said, something? I don't belong I don't agree with any of these men. But this is what I don't know, red pill or the manosphere is becoming. And to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here, Fresh and Fit. And again, I have nothing negative towards any of these people. I just don't agree with anything they say anymore.
See, I like this. I like Joker. Right? He said it the best way to go about it. I don't disagree with these people. I mean, I don't agree with these people, but I have no hate or dislike them. I just don't agree with their views. These are the type of conversations I wish we could have more in the red pill space and between men and women. It's just, even though we don't care for each other's views or don't see eye to eye, doesn't mean we can't be civilized people.
And I find myself like, okay, maybe either the red pill has evolved and it's moved past me, or the definition's changed, or maybe I've drifted out.
That's what I felt like too, as when I started creating content until now. I've watched content before I created content, but when I watched before I created, the content was quite different, a little bit different. The messages were a little bit different. It was more of just, pulling the wool over your eyes kind of thing, seeing society how it is and how to navigate that. Now all of a sudden it became high value men and, all these things, which, yeah, you strive to be a high value man, but that isn't the only thing that you can be, because I do hate that everybody wants to push the lifestyle of, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Where in my channel, I'm like, hey, I understand there's choices. You don't want to mess with the court system. You don't want to mess with women. Mid-towel it up. I understand. You don't want to mid-towel it up exactly. You still want to find a wife, and, maybe go across the seas. Pass bro it up, man. No judgment here. If you still want to marry here and, live life here, try to get a better job and find a wife. You know what? I want to talk more about these 50-50 relationships, because those are going to be the dominant relationships in society. Like, this whole man taking care of everything is great. If you can do this, if you can strive for this, I think this is probably one of the best relationships and the best way to go about it. But most people aren't going to be able to get that. Most women are going to want to work. Most women are going to want to do somewhat of these things. So we really have to really look in the red pill and as men and understand that it isn't just, fuck bitches and get rich and Bugattis.
Outside of what the red pill is. Because, in this debate, and I'm going to be breaking this debate over on betterbachelor.locals.com, and I'm going to do it for supporters only, because it's going to be probably an hour and a half long video. I'm going to do that in the next day or two for supporters as a live stream. I'm not going to do that here and now because I just don't want to. I don't want to do it on YouTube because I have a lot of creative words to say. But Fresh and Fit are kind of in this mindset, and I think Rolo's a little bit there, where they're like, to find a good woman, and they say this in the video.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm not making this up. Before you settle down and to find a good woman, to know she's a good woman, and you need to sleep with 50 women. And then you have an idea of what a good woman is. I'm like, I know what a good woman is before I do that. So maybe I agree with Sneeko a little bit.
Yeah.
And Sneeko's saying, once you don't have to sleep with women at all, and you can, find the right woman and then get married and only be with that one woman. I'm like, well, I don't agree with that. Yeah. And then he says, if you need variety, marry multiple.
Yeah, I don't think that you need to go through 50 women. But I also think the first women that you come across probably might not be the best choice either. So
women, and you don't have to do it in the law, just in relationship or in religion, going with the Islam bent on things of having multiple wives. I'm like, I don't agree with that.
Don't fully agree with either.
And then you got Destiny over here, who, this is a clip from Destiny. I'm going to play this real quick just so you can get Destiny's How I See Destiny.
I'm in a poly relationship. The reason why I'm in a poly relationship is because I don't give a fuck if my girlfriend goes and fucks another guy, because I know she's coming back to me at the end of the night, because we love each other, because I'm a cool fucking person. I know that. If I'm not gonna gatekeep
that was pretty cringe
out of my girlfriend,
on Destiny's part.
Do you think I'm gonna chase you around?
And I'm like, well, I certainly don't agree with that.
That part of Destiny's relationship, I'm actually kind of okay with. Society's progressing. We can't put the genie back in the bottle of, birth control and women going out into the workforce and things like that. How he has it set up, he gets to sleep with whoever, she gets to sleep with whatever. They kind of schedule it together. He still controls everything. He still has full control. He has full veto rights. I still think he is pretty strong in the red pill sense of a very successful man. Knows what he wants, can get access to any woman he wants, and his woman respects him. Yes, she sleeps around, but their form of respect is different than how the red pill views respect from men and women. So
here's you got a blue-haired guy that will basically let his wife sleep with whoever she wants to.
I'll totally understand how Joker views things and how most red pills would view things, because it's very having your women sleep with other men has never been good in a sense, but society's changed. This is one I'm more willing to accept in society, that men and women can just, they can have these types of relationships and it might work. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. I think you still need to be pretty high on echelon of men to be able to even have access to this type of relationship. So I don't think that relationship is really a good example of what is going to happen in society.
And so alpha Fs, alpha gets the game, and she comes home to provide her, to be, I don't know, friends with him, and maybe give him a little piece of action every once in a while, and he can pay for.
There is one thing that Destiny did that I fucking totally disagree with. He married his wife without a prenup. That's pretty rough.
For the bills, and he can be the bucks, the beta bucks. Well, I certainly don't agree with that. Like, dude, what? And plus, he's talking about a wife. Like,
yeah, they are
not only
married.
talking about getting married, but he's also now talking about letting your wife sleep with other dudes. Isn't this what the manosphere and Red Pill used to make fun of?
Yep.
But here he is. They've invited him on Fresh and Fit. And look, a lot of people say, well, it's good to hear other ideas. I'm sorry, not that idea. No man worth his salt is gonna let his wife step out on him to go get ridden by some bull, and then come home and goes, well, I'm not.
See, that's the thing. There's a lot of rich, well-off men now that have this thought process. Not Joker's thought process. I totally understand Joker's thought process. But men are a little bit more feminized. Men are a little bit more emotionally intelligent, which I understand in somewhat of ways. Women are a little bit more masculine. It is what it is, right? But the man's still the king of his household, from what I can tell from his content and things like that. Again, he has full veto power. She has full veto power. It's a pretty equal relationship overall. He still takes care of most of the bills. I think he still cares all of the bills. They're pretty successful each other. But again, I just don't think it's a good example of how men should try to strive for or anything like that. I don't think that's a good example at all, but I understand it and I'll accept it from Destiny or men of his caliber because it works. It's been working for 4 years for him. As he always says, like, it's longer than most relationships out there, right?
I'm going to gatekeep, and no. And again, if that's where Red Pill's going, if we're going to have the debate about this stuff, I'm out. Because if you tell me I'm going to debate this guy and I play that clip and you're like, okay, well, we're going to sit down and talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. The discussion is over. You're a weak man. You
Again, I can understand why Joker thinks that, but knowing Destiny's personality, how smart the man is, I don't think he's a weak man. That's the problem I have with what Joker's saying.
You let other men have their way with your wife and you feel lucky. I'm sorry, I'm out. And then this Michael Sartain, I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. He has more of he had the player mindset.
Yes,
like he went out and ran through women, and then he was like, yeah, and then I think it's good to settle down and, okay, maybe. But I don't know if maybe I'm losing the plot. Maybe I'm just so far off in the guys going their own way corner that I no longer understand Red Pill. For me, it was always about stoicism and there's some pickup in there. Others, it's improving yourself. Others, but when we've got 4 different opinions like this and they're debating like topics, the word Red Pill is meaningless because it meant to wake up to the way the real world works.
Yes.
And to understand the current,
dynamic,
the current dating dynamics, and to not get yourself in trouble.
Yes.
And to be a strong, independent man.
That is exactly what I understood Red Pill was when I first joined and first got into the content. I was like, oh, self-improvement? Fuck yeah. Hold yourself accountable. Okay, got it. Oh, this is how the world works? I'll navigate it that way. So that's why I don't really push towards being promiscuous as men or sleeping around as much as you want. Like, I don't push towards that. If you want to do it, I ain't gonna stop you. People can do whatever the fuck they want, right? It's just suggestions, and like, to me, it doesn't feel so satisfying. I lived a decent life. I've been married, I've been divorced, I've slept around slightly after the divorce, and then it just rubbed me the wrong way overall. So.
And then the more I hear about these guys saying, "Oh, run through women," and
that's the part
again, I'm
not
not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Again, see, me and Joker are on the same page about this. You do what you want, but it's not something that I particularly advocate. Joker does not advocate it either.
But to say run through women before you try to find yourself the one or that only has a body count of 0 or 1 and then put a dime. I even disagree with this on I even disagree with this on people like Undead Chronic, where he's like, no hymen, no diamond. I'm like, no diamond, period. So I don't think I can really consider myself a red pill guy anymore. I think the meaning is too broad. I think we need to redefine it somehow, or I don't want to gatekeep it. Like, they can do whatever they want with it. It's not mine to gatekeep. I don't feel like I belong in this community anymore.
Again, I actually have similar sentiments to Joker. Very similar sentiments. The Destiny thing is what we have a little bit differ, but I also feel a little bit out of place. I mean, I push for men to do what they want, but I also push for improvement and to live your life. If you want a wife, great. If you don't want a wife, great. You want to travel? Great. Everything's in my book, as long as you're not, just playing video games and fucking jerking off to porn all day, and you want to strive for any of those types of I'm happy for you. Fuck, really? If you wanted to do that, I can't stop you either way, right? Men do what they want, but for the space to kind of be pushing towards just pure material things, almost, it feels like, because they're pushing to be rich, to have nice cars, to have all these things so you can pull bitches. I can afford a nice car. I'd rather have my normal car that I got from my mom after she passed. Why? Because I don't have payments on it anymore. I paid it off like last month. I don't understand why I would want payments just because it's gonna show the life. Oh, I'm rich, or I'm well off, or I'm top echelon. No, it's just like back in the day, the rich men, they wore plain normal clothes, plain normal cars. Why? Because that's how you pick up the best women possible. They're not knowing that you have the wealth or not. So,
the way I see the world, and I think this is kind of traditional, more traditional than any of the other hot takes, and I'm not talking about marriage and that portion of it, is that, a young man growing up learned from his father.
Yeah.
And he learned to be stoic and smart and resourceful and not overly emotional, and to be kind of a tough, strong man. And then he would go out and meet, the young girl when they were, I don't know, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, depending on the age range and in history that you were looking at. The further back you go, the younger. And he would ask her to marry him. She had a body count of 0. He had no life experience. They got married and moved through life together until one of them died from dysentery at 30 years old. But now we see the game that marriage is. And all these guys talk like, well, after you get married, then you should do the kids. Or if you get a snip or a vasectomy, well, you can't have the kids, but it's good when you're a player. But all 4 of these conversations ended in getting married and having a long-term relationship. And I'm like, something that is that red pill? Because I always thought that you become blue pill or purple pill. Or that knowing the statistics that we know today, that's kind of bad advice. That it was about either pickup game or learning how to hit on women and maybe date a few of them for a little while, maybe enjoy time with them, but don't paint yourself in a corner. Don't get yourself in trouble. Maybe I've just been a guy going my way for so long that I've drifted so far away from kind of the initial teachings or not teachings, but initial messages of it, that maybe I've left. Maybe I've left the red pill. I never thought I did, but maybe I have. So when you've got guys that are debating whether to
yeah, the thing is, Joker is very MGTOW. He's very MGTOW. He's not a big fan of marriage. Again, I fully understand. Like, as a man myself that was married, I fucking fully understand. But just personally, I think that the end goal should be families. If it's, with the women here, great. With the women from overseas, great. But that's my personal goal. It might not be everybody's personal goal. Again, I push people like, hey, if you do want the family, fucking go after it. But if you guys don't, live your life, man. Do what you need to do. You know, like I wish more men would choose to have families. That's my take on it. But you guys do what you guys want. That's why I like my channel. Like I don't really push towards you got to do this, you got to do that. Nope. These are the pathways that some men have chosen, men have talked about. You pick and choose, but at least choose something. You know, find a purpose to grind on. Don't just float around in life. That's all.
To sleep with 50 women and then wife one up. But in the same token, they're turning around and saying that, you know, women that sleep with a lot of men should not expect ever to have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Like, I understand that because it is different for men and women. But the end still puts you at the hands of the courts and the system. And then you got another guy, Destiny here, you know, arguing about, well, just give your wife away to anybody that she wants to be with. Well, what kind of relationship is that? And then Sneeko with the religion, you know, multiple. If you need diversity in your marriage, marry multiple women religiously, but not under the law. They can still take you to court.
Yeah.
And then I see, you know, they talk about Andrew Tate in the manosphere. Look, again, maybe you like Andrew Tate. Maybe you're okay with his message and everything. I think it reaches a lot of young men.
I don't hate the man.
You know, he's putting out there like, if you're not rich and drive these fancy cars, you're a loser. That if you work all day, instead of having your money make money for you, if you have to work all day long, you're worthless. I don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Actually, even some of the red pill and how things are, they even look down on blue collar men and 9-to-5 workers. I don't look down on blue collar men. I think blue collar men are fucking the backbone of fucking society. You know, it sucks to be a blue collar man because fucking you don't get that much respect. You work hard. You work probably one of the most essential jobs in the world, but yet even men and women don't respect you because you don't have an education type job. And that's where society kind of pushed towards, like, this is why women and men, anybody that's kind of educated seems to have these thought process of blue collar people. I mean, it's somewhat understandable maybe, but these are still solid citizens. I just hate that we're so classist. Is that what it is? Classist?
He said stuff like that. Who acts like that?
It's a fucking dick.
That a young man that doesn't have a bunch of money to put together, that can't be, you know, financially independent, or a guy maybe that isn't traditionally good looking and really struggles to get women, and so he doesn't want to do the, you know, the grind set to become rich because that's not where he finds his value. You want to call him a loser?
Exactly. There's men that do not care about wealth, that would just rather do something that they enjoy and live happy, which is fine. But I also want to, you know, counteract with that. It's like, men don't always do jobs that they like or love. It's necessary to live. That's what it is. That's what work is. Nowadays, how people view work is you have to be happy doing your work and be fulfilled and things like that. Like, no, it's just for a paycheck at the end of the means to be able to live and get to certain goals. You don't have to enjoy this shit. Like, it'd be nice if you did, but you fucking just work your ass off. That's all it is.
What about the guy that's just happy hanging out with some friends and having some hobbies and occasionally dating?
And that's what I do.
Maybe getting a girlfriend when, you know, timing is good and she finds him interesting and they date for a little.
See, I love Joker. I'm in this phase right now where he's talking about, yeah, I'm just floating around, doing my thing, focusing on business, focusing on myself, date maybe here and there. I don't think I've had a girlfriend in a while, so, but it's just living life and just being happy. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm doing this, speaking with you guys. I fucking, you know, have some businesses going. I mean, I quit my job when my mother passed, so I just been floating around doing this and my businesses. So, and I've been okay. So it was a scary jump to quit, but it worked out.
While, but he doesn't get himself trapped by the courts and everything like that. And Then if it doesn't work out, he moves along to, that he doesn't get his heart broken because he figures, hey, it's probably going to eventually, she's going to eventually leave me for somebody else. Like, I guess I've lost all meaning to what red pill and the manosphere means anymore. Especially when you got a room of 4 people like this that are so diverse, and they all claim to be speaking of the right way to lead your life, where I'm like, I guess I just feel like there is no right way to lead your life. You can't, I've never told anybody, look, here's what you need to do to be successful with women.
I agree.
Or here's what you need to
Joker
do
on
to
this.
be happy. Or here's what you need to do to make money. Giving advice is the worst thing you can do, I think, as a content creator. Because what worked for me, there's literally hundreds of thousands of you that watch me.
Yep.
How is my advice going to be the same for somebody that maybe lives in a small town that barely has internet and electricity in the middle of the Philippines?
100% agree. This is why my advice is so different, because I lived a different life than most people. I'm an immigrant, one, than most people that are on my channel. I'm Asian. Most people, like that's another one. And I was raised with a family business, which is slightly different than if my parents were just had a regular like corporate type job. So like my advices were like especially more tailored to Asian people, but doesn't mean we can't give advice, because these are the things that happened to us and the experiences that we went through, and we're teaching lessons through our own experiences. I'm not telling people to live this way, but I lived this particular life and this things happened, and this is how I kind of navigated that. And I think men can still take that into consideration for their own lives.
Telling you to invest in stocks, and maybe you don't have the ability to. I don't know. I think this is the problem with giving advice. And I get called out a lot of times because I don't give a lot of advice. A lot of people, at least in the beginning of my channel, people are like, what should I do for this? Or I've got a girlfriend that's this, or how do I make money? Or what, as a young man, it's 25 years old, where should I go with my life? And the problem with that is you're asking me from my life experiences, tell you how to live your life without knowing any of your life experiences. And I think that's very dangerous.
I agree.
Something that I thought that manosphere was, and maybe I was wrong, but I thought it was about finding what makes you happy, chasing after your goals, being a strong, independent man, being stoic, and finding what's going to make you happy, and then go get it. And along the way, keep yourself in shape at the gym. Make sure that you're financially stable and that you don't have to struggle for money. And then chase whatever your heart tells you. And if you don't have a dream to chase...
See, I would 100% agree with him. Chase whatever your heart chases you. But if you don't have dreams, look for something. Look for something you want to pursue. Don't just float around and just... live life like by like the edge of your teeth kind of thing.
Chase after, find one. Find something that interests you. If you don't have friends, make some.
Yes.
That's about as deep as I get into it.
Please make friends, men. Find some men around you that you can converse with, can share the important things with, and build a life with. I don't think we ever mentioned how building life with friends, there's things that you have to do to build those friendships. You can't just, hey, we're friends. Sometimes we hang out, sometimes we don't. No, you got to work on those things. My 2 best friends that I deal with now, I make tremendous effort to hang out with them. We chat all the time. Why? Because it's important to me. And these are probably the only friends I have that I can spill my guts to and cry to, and they understand. There's very few people in life that are going to do that, even family members. So go out and find a good friend, at least 2. If you're my age, get 2, at least 2, which is my mid-30s. If you're younger, you have the time, you probably have a bigger pool of people to be friends with. As you get older, it just gets a little harder to make friends.
But these guys, I don't know. They all act like they have the right answer for you. And I don't like that.
I also agree.
And I find that that's more and more what's happening. I don't know. I don't know. I feel, though, after seeing all this stuff and being on Twitter and seeing fights over, what a real man is and what's a high value man and what's the right way to navigate through this, and everybody's arguing about what's right. There is no right answer. There's no such thing as a right answer. There's what's right for you. I don't think I belong in this community anymore. And that's not to say that I'm not going to do my videos. It's not to say that I'm not going to do things the way I've always done them. Like, I haven't changed between yesterday and last week, and I'm still going to do what I do. I don't think I want to call myself Red Pill anymore. I'm not even sure I want to call myself Manosphere.
I somewhat feel the same way, but I mean, just like Passport Bros, I mean, I'm tagged with it in a sense. I don't mind being associated with it in a sense because I have my own views of it. But if the mainstream, if a Passport Bros, I can fully defend that, right? People viewing that differently. It's just men wanting to go out and it's a very simple definition. Now with the red pill, the definition is broadening so much. I just more think I like the focusing on yourself, focusing on your happiness, focusing on your body and health, and then, live your life the way you want it. You're able to get the resources to live the way you want to live.
I think I'm firmly I'm just a guy going my own way, doing my own thing. And if that's what's right for you, maybe that's the moniker, maybe that's the headline to use for yourself. Because this infighting and this squabbling over these things from people that I would make fun of for some of their takes, again, like Destiny, I just don't agree with it anymore. So maybe I've fallen on the outside. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm really curious. Have I just drifted so far out of the men's spaces because of my thought process on things that it's me that's left? Or are we having debates about dating and pickup and sleeping with 50 women versus somebody that says don't sleep with anybody until you're married, and then with another guy that wants to cuck out his wife? Like, I don't know. But this is how I feel today. I feel like
I actually like Joker's take on things. Very, balanced. The whole Destiny thing, I fully understand how he views Destiny, which, again, I was very similar to him. Just actually for the last couple of months is when I started viewing a little bit more as Destiny's content and just how he views things and how he debates. And I like the man a little bit more. Actually, I like the man a lot more. And I've learned a little bit more about his relationship and how it works. I can't fault a man for having that type of relationship. Yes, in the red pill space, like having women sleep with other men is such a no-no. But society's changed, right? Women have changed so drastically now that they want to be men and act like men, and some men accommodate that. So I think accommodation is a big deal nowadays that a lot of us red pillars don't want to do when it comes to certain things, when it comes to women, because we're so rigid with some things. Just like the whole, having to be the provider like thing. I agree. That is probably one of the best ways to have a solid relationship. But the 50-50 thing is going to be much more of a thing than it is not. So please like and subscribe down below. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll get you next time. It's chow time.